Question number 1. You are in a small room with only one exit. However, on the door handle sits a huge spider with at least 3 legs. Do you...
Sorry, continue.
Do you, A, calmly brush it aside, B, punch it repeatedly in its stupid little spider face, C, hop onto a conveniently placed chair and scream and scream and scream until your lungs fall off, or D, cleave it in twain with your legendary claws that we all hold so dear?
I get the feeling this isn't going to be somewhat serious.
No.
It's quite insulting.
Do I have to answer honestly?
About to get secondary school children then, or high school gossipy personality test in a magazine.
That's what it is.
Girl, you know what you're talking about.
Are we answering this genuinely?
Answer it however you want.
I have been.
Yeah, I have been after the first question.
Do you want to tell me what you answered? Because I want to know. Okay.
A.
Okay, well, fair enough, okay. It's interesting. Question number 2. It is the day of the village fete, but oh no! Disaster strikes. Someone's forgotten to bring clotted cream for the scones. Do you, A, eat the scones in jam-only configuration, whilst simultaneously bringing down a silent curse upon the house of the man or woe-man who forgot the cream?
Whoa, man.
Do you, B, pull a graphically pornographic image from your wallet, use it as a masturbatory aid, and spunk upon the hitherto naked scones, because they were naked because the cream goes on first, as we all know? C, think, it's probably for the best, clotted cream might have a spider hiding in it. Or D, channel all the powers that you wield into a spell of metamorphosis and transform the forgetful cream provider into a giant tub of delicious cream, full of his or her life essence.
See, I don't know whether to answer this seriously or not anymore.
Well, it is a completely serious quiz, so please answer it seriously.
Absolutely going with D for that one.
I'm going to guess I'm going to be A's for all of them, just because that's the most normal question to answer.
All I'm thinking of is
Can I just
answer
put
B.
A's for them all and then go outside for a quick fag for the rest of the test? I'll come back for the grading at the end.
Yeah, I was the whole bit with the answer B about using a masturbatory aid. I just remembering the sandwich.
Yeah, but that was more to be a dick rather than to actually do it for my own pleasure.
Yeah, he did kind of deserve that.
That was more out of revenge against someone we didn't like rather than...
Yeah, it's very true.
Do you want me to cut that out?
I don't care.
Whatever. Anyway.
We were all teenagers once.
Question number 3. War. War never changes, except when it does. Has war changed? We shall never know. There's a knock at the door. It's war. And it's changed. Or has it? Yes. Except it hasn't. If you were in a war, what would you do? A. Whatever is demanded without question. B. Bang, 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 bang. C. To be honest, I'm still worried about that spider in question 1. Or D. What do you mean if? I am war itself. I am pain and suffering and damnation. All who look on me will tremble in despair. Fear me.
I was more of a B for that one, actually. I giggled because as soon as you said the first word of that sentence, I thought you were going to follow it with, what is it good for?
It's always one of those two things. Either what is it good for, or it never changes.
That was a really good one. Question number 4. Complete this sequence. A, B, C, A, D, B, B, C, 1, D squared.
Okay, and what's the multiple choices?
That's an A.
It's quite simple. A, D, B, B, C, 1, D squared.
D squared.
Yep. References.
Inside jokes that literally nobody outside the 3 of us plus Jenny would get.
Kristian, is this quiz written by you?
Yes.
There we go.
I thought it had a very familiar sense of humour to it.
I.e. weird.
I.e. stupid.
Question number 5. Christmas is over. The geese are getting thin. Please put a penny in the old man's shin. If you haven't got a penny, a rapier will do. If you haven't got a rapier, just use poo. Do you A, put a penny, B, put a rapier, C, check under the desk to see if there's a spider there, or D, put some poo?
Fucking hell. A.
Okay. Ozzy?
A.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm answering seriously.
Question number 6. One of your friends starts to exhibit strange behaviour, such as nervousness, preoccupation with a perceived threat, and checking under things for spiders. Do you A, shrug it off, live and let live, mon chéri, B, use the gun you received in the war, see question 3 above, and shoot him up the face, C, no, I'm serious, there's definitely a spider in here, or D, secretly release more spiders into your friend's ecosystem, then deny all knowledge of it?
C.
D.
Oh, thanks. Gee, I wonder who this quiz is aimed towards.
Well, I was originally going to say which member of the Invisible Tower are you, but then it got out of hand. Question number 7. One of your other friends has written a personality quiz and begins to ask you increasingly deranged questions, many of which involve spiders. How do you respond? A. He's got a point though, there are definitely more spiders in here than there were a minute ago. B. Attempts to punch each of the spiders 8 times with each of your 8 arms, but due to the number of them pouring into the room, quickly find it difficult to keep track of which have been punched and which haven't, leading to an OCD-related nervous breakdown. C. Hyperventilate so much that the airflow pulls spiders into your mouth, from which they crawl into your brain and control your movements like in Ratatouille, but a bit more severe and probably permanent. Or D. Shrug and whistle nonchalantly.
D.
D.
Okay. Question number 8. Just 3 more. You've just started a new job. Your boss calls you into his or her office, and from the tone of his or her voice, you can infer that he or she is about to tell you or yourself off. What do you or yourself do? A. Act casual and assume it'll all work out fine. B. Go in there all guns blazing before fleeing across the border to escape the inevitable murder charge. C. Run screaming from the building because your new boss terrifies you in ways you didn't think were possible. Or D. Know that you will be fine as his position atop the local social hierarchy is entirely of your design.
Oh,
A.
I'm torn.
What was B again? Oh, guns blazing.
Guns
yeah,
blazing.
A.
Okay.
A, yeah.
Hey, okay. Pretty casual cats. Question number 9. You were in a well-known department store buying trousers, but the only ones you can find have a good deal more legs than you require. How do you react? Do you A. Just buy a pair anyway and share them with 3 other colleagues? B. Put your legs in the first 2 holes, your arms in the next 2, your head and penis in the next, then your 2 bum cheeks in the final 2? Do you C. Curl up into a fetal position and cry until you pass out from exhaustion? It's all you seem to be good for nowadays anyway. Or D. Assume the position and wear the trousers with all good grace?
C.
B.
Okay. Contortion. Last question, number 10. Which word best describes you? A. Provident. B. Recusant. C. Munificent. Or D. Lucrahulk?
Or E, what does all those words mean?
Say them again?
Provident, recusant, munificent, or Lucrahulk?
They do sound familiar. I'm Lucra Hulk.
Okay.
Are they the new Avengers?
Is that all now?
That's all of them. Okay, so what have you got? What have you got most of? The tension's killing me.
C's, I think.
Okay. If you answered mostly C, please report to your nearest supervisor for immediate reconditioning. The new order was created for the benefit of all beings, and the selfish protests of those that are too resistant to change will not stand in our way. Spiders have 2 legs too, they just happen to have 6 other legs as well, which makes them 4 times better than you. Do not think dissidents will go unpunished.
Okay.
I have A's.
Mostly A's. If you answered mostly A, you are salad or soup. You are cool, collected, cold, together, refrigerated, assembled, frigid, barren, infertile, impotent, and HIV positive. You enjoy long walks in the park, treatment clinics, and planning your funeral. You lost your legs 5 years ago to hypothermia and have been given 6 months to live.
Soup,
Wow.
super tasty soup.
Exactly. There you go.
Okay.
So at home, if you mostly answered D, then you are the Dreadlord Malachi, whom even the cold earth itself could not contain. As our immortal overlord, you are worshipped and adored in equal measure. No one's really sure what's going on with all the spiders, though. And if you answered mostly B, please seek medical help.
I didn't get any Bs.
So
I get C's.
are you happy with your newfound knowledge of what your personality is?
Yes.
I'm indifferent to what I was 15 minutes ago.
So you know how I wrote a personality quiz a while ago?
Oh yeah.
I started writing a sequel, but I kind of got carried away and wrote myself into a corner, and it went really weird.
How do you write yourself into a corner with a quiz?
Well, I forgot to put any questions in. Because I
You know what? When you're writing a quiz, that is a bit of a problem if you don't put any questions in.
I thought I'll have a little paragraph to set the scene, but the
And then
scene
it sort of
continued
went-
to be set.
It became a novel.
Yeah. Yes. So if you'd like, I have 221 words here that started off as a personality quiz.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. It's a direct sequel to the first one.
Of course.
The year is 2049, and the spiders still hold the East Coast. Following the annual Brexit deadline extension, Eternal Prime Minister Theresa May, died 2029, prepares to celebrate her 20th death day from within her essence-preserving scaffolding. Such an occasion is usually marked by the birthing of a new brood, but as the ovipositor unfolds itself from her thorax, you immediately sense something is amiss. The glistening egg tube, normally pulsating in the throes of maternal ecstasy, instead flops lifelessly down to land on the floor with a wet thud. You look around the room. Mrs. May's acolytes shuffle nervously, each one staring intently at their own nondescript patch of floor, desperate not to draw attention to themselves by pointing out the obvious. They were not chosen for their independence. You, however, are something a little different. You glance up at your premier's long-since lifeless face and immediately regret it. The flesh sluices off her bones, sliding another inch in even the split second you dare to steal a glance. But something else steals your attention away from the floor, something you're sure you cannot have seen. Your gaze moves upwards, past the drained form of Philip May, attached to his wife's side and now little more than a source of semen, and back up to that dread visage. Yes, there it is. To be continued. So you can see how I kind of wrote myself into a bit of a corner.
Do you A, take it, turn to page 15?
Yeah,
or
I was
B,
going to say,
close the door
this feels
behind you,
like
turn to page 92.
this feels like the start of a Tyranid invasion choose your own adventure book.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
So it's a direct sequel because of the spiders. That's...
Oh, obviously, that's the one defining trait that ties it all together.
Yeah.
Maybe give up on the quiz and make it into a choose your own adventure book.
I don't know how to do that. It's the Spider-Verse. That's name hasn't been taken, has it?
No, sounds familiar.
No.
We all know about vitamins A to E, and some of us even know about vitamin K, the secret blood vitamin. But what about the other 20 vitamins? These vitamins are kept from the prying eyes of the public by a secretive consortium of health oligarchs, but today I'm able to tell you of the forbidden vitamins.
I have a feeling where this is going.
Vitamin F, the vitamin of respects, used by your body to create mourning hormones or mormones at funerals. An excess of vitamin F can lead to excessive compulsive funeral attendance and a state of constant waking, where you spend your time holding muted conversations in function rooms while nibbling at mini pork pies from a buffet. Vitamin G, used by homies from the hood to create homie pheromones for distribution amongst the hood, where other homies will absorb them with their homie stamen in order to pollinate their homie ovaries or homovaries. And that's how Babby made.
That be how Babby made, innit?
Yeah.
Isn't it though? Booyakasha.
Vitamin H, an essential vitamin for holograms and people from steps.
Oh, okay.
Causes them
Yeah.
to be ephemeral and inconsequential, or alternatively, a hologram. Vitamin I, the vitamin of the self, the id, the ego, the superego, the ID, the passport, the provisional driving license, and or the retina. Lack of vitamin I causes a person to become subsumed into the cultural melange, where they lose all personality traits and inevitably go on to become leader of the Labour Party.
Or just blind.
Yes. There's the other option. Vitamin J. Found naturally in candy canes, vitamin J is the leading source of Christmas for humans. When the candy groves were first discovered in 1928, scientists were at first baffled by the outbreak of a strange new illness the next December. Now known as Christmas, we've learned to love to live with it, as a man who eats uncooked meat might learn to live with a tapeworm, but a really nice tapeworm that buys you presents.
How do you spell Christmas?
With a T.
Well, as long as there's a K somewhere in there. Doesn't have to be at the front.
Not this Christmas, that's a different vitamin.
Christmas.
Vitamin double K. Vitamin K4.
Oh,
Vitamin L, found mainly in people who sin, i.e. usurers, enviers, and people who leave their receipts hanging out of the self-checkouts. Lifetime accumulation of vitamin L causes the soul to be dragged downwards after death, descending ever more into the fiery abyss, where they will face punishment until the breaking of the seals and the scouring of earth. Tastes of cinnamon.
that L for losers then, I'm guessing.
L for hell.
L for hell, okay. Kind of get, yeah.
It almost makes sense.
Oh,
Vitamin M. This vitamin courses through the veins of Ronald's McDonald's, leading to skin blanching, lip reddening, and clothes yellowing. Also causes the feet to swell into 2 giant lips, one on each leg. Tastes similar to beef, hence the industrial Ronald farms in the American Midwest operated by McDonald's, which is named after the Ronalds. Vitamin N. N is a freeware video game developed by MetaNet Software. It was inspired in part by Lode Runner, Soldat, and other side-scrolling games. It was the first of the N series, followed by N+, and N++. N won the Audience Choice Award in the Downloadables category of the 2005 Independent Games Festival. Vitamin O. Boo! It's the vitamin of surprise! All humans contain a thin layer of vitamin O, which, upon death, is shed into the ethersphere. If the human had unfinished business, which is in italics, in the mortal realm, their consciousness is transferred automatically to the vitamin layer, which after death is known by scientists as ectoplasm. Vitamin P. Ectoplasm. That's where the name comes from, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Vitamin P. Vitamin P is a naturally yellow vitamin often found in the carapaces of Ronald's McDonald's. The addition of water will break down the yellow colour and cause the P to run clear. At this point, you know that the chicken is cooked. Vitamin Q. An essential mineral for snooker players, vitamin Q is light blue in colour and mined out of the ground in Stephen Hendry's back garden. If consumed, it turns a person's eyes blue and allows them to compute events in the future before they happen, which is what snooker players use to plan their positional shots. It is also applied to the end of the snooker wand to impart a crude level of sentience which allows for better shot-taking technique. Vitamin R. Found mainly in the West Country, vitamin R sits in the mouth and bends space-time around the pronunciation of the English letter R. This allows the host organism, e.g. a Bristolian, to pronounce otherworldly sounds such as the aforementioned letter R. Vitamin S. Occurs naturally in snakes and causes them to bend. Without vitamin S, snakes are naturally rigid, and so will often be genetically engineered and fed vitamin Q so that they can be used as snooker wands. A person who eats too many snakes will start to spaghettify, and not in a delicious way. Vitamin T. Mined from the ground in Ceylon and Assam, and used as a growth aid for the plant tea, which takes its name from the mineral. Untreated tea, the plant, leaves, will only create coffee when boiled, and no one wants that. Vitamin U. It's you! How did you get into this list? Please remove yourself immediately before you become irreversibly linked to events. The way to remove yourself is to execute what's known as a U-turn, which is what this vitamin enables. If you don't have any vitamin U to hand, you can always find some around the back of the toilet pipe. Vitamin V. Still going. Vitamin V.
We're near the end. We're near the end. Don't worry, people. We're near the end.
I literally wrote this in half an hour after I finished work in a mad stupor. Anyway, vitamin V. Vitamin V has higher HP and stronger attacks than a regular vitamin, and many stage 1 and 2 vitamins have had basic vitamin V versions released. When your vitamin V is knocked out by an opponent's vitamin, your opponent draws 2 prize cards. Vitamin W. This is simply 2 vitamin Vs stuck to each other. Not immediately dangerous, but if too many congregate in one place, they can achieve critical mass and continue accumulating vitamins. The largest vitamin W ever recorded was, strictly speaking, a vitamin tredecillion, 28 decillion, 123 nonillion, 5 octillion, 812 sextillion, 16 quintillion, 703 quadrillion, 399 trillion, 18 billion, 462 million, 873,308 U. It was so large that it created a wormhole as soon as it came into existence, and prophecy foretells that it will return in our hour of greatest need.
I don't know much about that, but I do know I liked your delivery of that particular. That particular entry had a very Fantastic Beasts level of sort of. Do you get what I mean? It felt like
You mean it was a good idea,
like,
but the execution left a lot to be desired.
yeah.
Vitamin X.
X,
Used in
oh,
triplicate by purveyors of blue films and mucky videos, even the tamest audiovisual production will be hard-pressed to avoid getting itself in a sticky situation after it's had a taste of Vitamin X. Vitamin Y. Why indeed? Is this the vitamin of questions, or is it perhaps something else? Do you know? If you did, would you write in to let us know? How should I know? When would be a good time to finish this joke? Would it be now? Vitamin Z. Get some Z on your bed and rest your sleepy head. Yes, your sleep is nothing to dread when you smear your bed with Z. As depicted in the nation's beloved advert for Z-Bed, Vitamin Z is used to help us all get to sleep without the usual mix of terror and dread. Without Vitamin Z, we would be forced to face our reality and accept what it's become. With Vitamin Z, we must learn to accept our wise and benevolent masters and not cause such a hullabaloo that we must be taken to the great web for correction. Good night, everyone, and sweet dreams.
That last entry, I thought you'd kind of run out of stuff by that when you first started singing, but then you actually went into something. So, bravo.
I tried to, even the ones with like vitamin W with CB2 vitamin V stuck to each other, I was like, I can't just leave it at that. I've got to have something for each of them. So there we are. Those are the how many were there? The 20 forbidden vitamins.
Yeah, because there's already the 6.
Yeah, everyone knows about them already.
Yeah.
Ah, so there we are. So, what have you been up to? The 4 rivers of Britain flow to each of the 4 corners of Britain, which are known as Yathick, Trethwick, Tetherick, and Newcastle. Each of the rivers flows from the ancient and powerful source of Britain, located in the exact geographical centre of this, our most damp isle. The ancient and powerful source of Britain, or for short, the ancient and powerful source of the country, is marked by a quartz obelisk atop a short cuboid hill 60 cubits in height, from each side of which flows one of the 4 rivers. Each river is composed of one of the 4 classical British elements, which together help to create the Britain we know and like as a friend. And that's it, Britain. Please stop messaging me. The rivers are... Number 1, the River Thames. The largest of the 4 rivers, the Thames flows through the capital city, London, for its entire length. London originally occupied one small part of the banks of the Thames, but was built along its entire length in the mid-16th century in order to better guard against the river's inhabitants. The Thames is comprised of the first British element, cholera. This helps to weed out the weak and ensure that only the most hardy of British stock are allowed to live. British children who succumb to cholera are left on the front doorstep for the milkman to pick up in the morning. Number 2, the River Severn. Named after the 7 ancient king... Pardon?
Yeah. I don't think I've seen a milkman around for years.
Well, they know how to avoid people now. They're like hobbits.
They are still about, though. That's good to know.
If you ever see a milkman, it's too late.
He's come for your children.
Anyway, sorry. Continue.
The River Severn, named after the 7 ancient kings of Monmouthshire, who created the river's modern route by extensive use of damming. The Severn is the patron river of industry and is therefore, as you'd expect, made from coal, which is the second British element. Every year there is a tidal surge in the lower parts of the river, which has been made world famous by the tradition of engineers attempting to break the world record for the longest train surf along the Carboniferous Wake. Hundreds are killed every year. Fun for all the family. Number 3, the River Mersey. This river is made from the 3rd British element, beetles. The naturally chitin-rich diet of inhabitants of Liverpool is to blame for their thriving music scene, which produced such giants as the Cockchafers, the Stags, and the Two-Spotted Ladybirds. Liverpudlians are the sworn enemies of Mancunians, and kinetic dynamos have been built to harness this power. If you tape a Liverpudlian and a Mancunian back to back, their attempts to kick each other's heads in result in them spinning at up to 4 miles per hour, leading to their use in dynamos to supplement the national grid.
Yep.
Number 4, the River Tyne. Not to be confused with the River Time, which flows out of the dimensional Hellgate at the North Pole and governs all our lives, and can never be witnessed, and should never be thought about for more than 4 minutes. The River Tyne instead flows through Newcastle, or possibly Sunderland. Sunderland, or if you prefer Newcastle, lies north or south of the river and is famous for its indecipherable accent, being the one that isn't Newcastle and or being the one that isn't Sunderland. Sunderland, or occasionally Newcastle, is most famous for its manufacture of forks, and that neatly leads us onto the fourth British element, which is cutlery. Before Britain discovered the world in 1880, cutlery was unknown to the rest of the unwashed savages until we showed up and gave them a jolly good reminder of how to have good manners. People in the USA of America Stateside Union still don't use cutlery and instead use something called silverware, which they get from a river in Delaware. Those are the four rivers and or classical elements of Britain, and all that's left for me to say is, please immediately stop thinking about the River Tyme for your own safety. Good night.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So, to recap, the four elements of Britain are cutlery,
Cutlery,
beetles,
Yep.
coal, and cholera.
And cholera.
Yeah, that scans. Yeah. That is
I mean,
truly magnificent.
I would have thought tea would have been in there somewhere, but then I remember we stole that off the Indians.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
I would have thought, like,
probably should have put
moaning
tea in
would
there,
have
shouldn't
been
I? That's actually liquid.